Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you have pricing questions about this watch, reach out to me. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this or any Watchbox watch. For pricing and sales, contact me directly, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a rarely configured, historically important, and discontinued FP Journe timepiece. This is the Tourbillon Souverain, 40mm in platinum, with rose gold movement, rose gold dial, full factory platinum bracelet. This is the watch that debuted in 2004 and won the 2004 GPHG Aigido, effectively Best Picture at the Oscars of watchmaking. Now, the timepiece is 40mm in diameter by 9.9mm thick. It's 48mm lug-to-lug, but if you include the rigid end link profiles of the bracelet, it actually has a distance across the wrist of 55mm, which is quite broad. The spacing between the links is 20mm if you want to throw it on a strap. Now, on the strap, it's suitable for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. But on the bracelet, as you see it here, on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, it's much broader. My wrist is 16. I could recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 15 on the bracelet. Again, you could buy the watch on the bracelet, put the bracelet away for posterity and collectability, and just put it on a strap and wear it. But if you're going to wear it on the bracelet, you want a 15 centimeter circumference wrist or larger. It's thin at under 10mm with a domed bezel, so it slides easily underneath a cuff. Taking a look at the bracelet, there have been several generations of Journe bracelet, and there have been some detail changes along the way, but all versions of the platinum bracelet are a 5-link design with high polished tops. You can see there are satin finished flanks. You'll also appreciate that removable links are fixed by screws, and if you look closely, you can see the screws are white gold. Another element on some of these clasps is that internally you can see it's white gold, and there really is quite a difference between the color of the clasp body and then the color of the white platinum. White gold is used because it is stiffer and stronger than platinum. White gold mechanically is the toughest of the three primary golds, and it's tougher than jewelry grade platinum. So that's why white gold is used for the clasp internal. And you can see it's a sequential fold. One side folds before the other. And the watch is nicely balanced. A heavy timepiece on a strap with its gold dial, platinum case, and gold movement. It's a little bit better balanced on a bracelet, as it doesn't have the tendency to hula hoop or move around on the wrist that a top-heavy, strap-clad, loosely strapped watch would have. Case is simple, as you can see, polished. And you'll appreciate that the polished case has a blended lug profile. The bezel and the case back have a little overlapping lip that define the mid case, and the lugs turn down rather sharply. You can also see that there's the characteristic FP Journe double dimple knurled crown, and that's a design feature of Journe watches since the very first Tourbillon remontoir back in 1999. Now, taking a quick look at the dial, you could see that it is a rose gold matte finished disc with holes cut for the center and for the screws that mount it to the movement and for the power reserve indicator pinion. So starting from the top, you can see there's a power reserve indicator. It actually indicates 0 when fully wound. That's a nod to marine chronometers, which would always indicate the hours since the last full wind. There are bolts on the dial side. This was an element of the very first FP Journe prototype wristwatch in 1991, and initially in the 90s, it was denounced as somewhat crude. Today, it's almost universally copied. The dial is a disc of gold, matte finished, media blast, and you can see that there's a steel bezel surrounding the tourbillon, the deadbeat second, and then the hours and the minutes. So the watch has a 1-minute tourbillon with a hand-finished half bridge that's full polished and rounded. There's a filigree style wire cage that's also hand finished. 1-minute circuits, 21,600 vibration per hour beat rate, 6-position adjustment, handmade over coil hairspring, and a free sprung architecture. Those last two features allowing the watch to keep even time in any position and to better take and hold the precise regulation, respectively. Now, the watch also includes some features on the reverse side, which actually bear a little bit more directly on the precision. You can see, first of all, this is caliber 1403. So 14 is the size in French lean, and 03 is the year FP Journe started work on the movement. That's how Journe movements are named. The caseback also features both French and Swiss hallmarks. So this model, made from 2004 to 2018, had French-made cases from Eleanor between 2004 and mid-2008. So you get a sense of the age of this watch just by the hallmarkings and and the Eleanor Maker's Mark. We have both French and Swiss hallmarks in the back of this case. Now, the watch includes a solid gold movement. It is 18-karat rose gold for bridges and plates. You can see the crown wheel, the ratchet wheel, the pocket watch-inspired swan's neck style click and click spring, and then black polished surfaces that relate to the remontoir de galette. You see this linear titanium spring, and for the first 28 hours of power reserve, thanks to the remontoir, it's actually a buffer between the barrel and the escapement. So the same amount of force gets applied each second to the escapement via the remontoir, allowing the watch to maintain constant amplitude for the first 28 hours of power reserve. Wind it at the same time daily, the watch will keep extraordinary good time. Pivots on 26 jewels. It is 30 meters water resistant. It is a dress watch. Do not take it swimming. Get an elegant 48 for that. Collectible, discontinued, handsome, and unconventionally configured. You can reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing details of this FP Journe Tourbillon Souverain.